At 19, the world as I knew it shattered. One slammed door, a few harsh words, and suddenly I was standing on the curb with nothing but a backpack and the clothes on my skin. The people who were supposed to be my safe harbor, my family, had cast me out. The city lights, once a symbol of dreams, now felt cold and mocking. That first night was the longest of my life. I found a corner, trying to make myself invisible, every passing shadow a potential threat. The concrete was unforgiving, a stark contrast to the bed I'd slept in just the night before. Loneliness wasn't just a feeling. It was a physical ache, a hollowness in my chest that echoed the emptiness of my pockets. Days blurred into a monotonous cycle of survival. I learned the routes of the city buses, not to go anywhere, but to stay warm for a few hours. I learned which public libraries had the cleanest bathrooms and which parks were safest to rest in during the day. Hunger was a constant companion, a dull gnaw that sharpened into a piercing pain. I remember staring into bakery windows, the smell of fresh bread so tantalizing it made me dizzy. I felt like a ghost, watching people live their lives, laughing with friends, complaining about trivial things. I was invisible to them, a problem they'd rather not see. The shame was suffocating. I felt dirty, worthless, and completely and utterly alone. Was this it? Was this all my life would ever be? The rejection stung more than the hunger. The words echoed in my mind on a loop. You're a disappointment. You'll never amount to anything. I started to believe them. Every job application I filled out felt pointless. Who would hire someone with no address, no clean clothes, no confidence? I'd walk into interviews and see the judgment in their eyes before I even spoke. The rejections piled up, each one another brick in the wall that was trapping me. I'd spend hours just walking, trying to outrun the despair that chased me. There were moments, dark moments, where giving up felt like the only option. The world felt like it was conspiring against me, confirming every negative thing I'd been told, every negative thing I now believed about myself. One rainy afternoon, huddled under an awning, I saw my reflection in a puddle. I barely recognized the person staring back. The eyes were hollow, filled with a despair that scared me. I looked defeated, and in that moment, something shifted. It wasn't a lightning bolt or a sudden revelation. It was a flicker, a tiny, stubborn spark of defiance deep inside. I was tired. Not just physically tired, but tired of being a victim, tired of letting other people's words define my existence. I was 19. Was I really going to let this be the end of my story? Or could this be the beginning? I had nothing left to lose, which, I realized, meant I had everything to gain. That tiny spark became my mission. I found a shelter that offered more than just a bed. They offered resources. They helped me get an ID, gave me access to a shower, and provided clothes for interviews. It was a start. I started looking for work differently. Instead of aiming for corporate jobs, I looked for anything. I took a job washing dishes in a small diner. The work was grueling, the hours long, but it was honest. And for the first time in months, I earned a paycheck. It was a small amount, but holding it in my hand, I felt a sense of pride I hadn't felt in a long, long time. It wasn't just money. It was proof. Proof that I could do it. The diner became my training ground. I learned to work hard, to be reliable. I saved every single penny I could. I'd eat the leftover food at the end of my shift and walk for an hour to save on bus fare. Slowly, my savings account grew. It was a slow, painstaking process. But with each dollar I saved, my confidence grew too. The cook, a gruff man named Sal, saw something in me. He started teaching me how to prep ingredients, then how to work the grill. I was learning a skill. I was becoming someone. With a little more money and a lot more confidence, I found a small room to rent. It was tiny, barely big enough for a bed and a small desk, but it was mine. Closing that door for the first time, knowing I was safe, that I had a place to call my own. I can't even describe the feeling. It was overwhelming. I lay on that bed and cried, not tears of despair, but tears of relief and gratitude. I had a home. From there, things started to accelerate. I enrolled in a community college course online, studying business management at night after my shifts. I was exhausted most of the time, but it was a good kind of tired. I was building something. Life started to have color again. The city lights no longer mocked me. They inspired me. I saw opportunity where I once saw only obstacles. I finished my certificate program, and with Sal's encouragement, I started thinking bigger. I had an idea for a food truck, combining the classic diner food I'd mastered with a modern twist. It felt like an impossible dream, but the word impossible didn't scare me anymore. I wrote a business plan. I pitched it to anyone who would listen. I got 100 no's, but I only needed one yes. A small local credit union saw the passion and the detailed plan I'd created, and they took a chance on me. Today, when I stand in my own successful food truck, serving lines of happy customers, I sometimes see a kid on the street who looks lost, who has that same hollow look in their eyes that I once had. I always make sure they get a hot meal, no questions asked. I remember the person in the puddle, and I smile. That person didn't disappear. They became the foundation for who I am today. The struggle, the pain, the loneliness, it all forged a strength in me I never knew I had. My past is a part of my story, but it is not the whole story. My journey taught me the most important lesson of all. You are not defined by where you come from or what has happened to you. You are not defined by the people who let you down or the doors that were slammed in your face. Your worth is not determined by your circumstances. It is determined by your spirit, by your refusal to give up. The past can be a heavy burden, or it can be the solid ground you push off from to launch yourself into the future. The choice is yours. Your past does not decide your future. You do. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more.